you can't in today's world find job easily unless you focus on your personal brand, you increase your visibility, you look for referrals, not necessarily a fun experience. Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking fun, but like, okay, not that extreme. So you have a very, very interesting and rich experience across different continents, different industries, small and medium and large enterprises and companies, private and government sector. So there is a lot to tell.
And mostly in IBM or IBM/Lenovo, because I said I enjoyed going back and forth 2 times.
You represent a very interesting profile. And would you say that some of these like challenges are like Egypt specific?
So it's across the board. It's nothing specific to Egypt, that's for sure. The job market demand has been a little bit shifting to specialization, and it's becoming even more competitive in terms of like, less opportunity and more supply.
What would be your advice to companies and recruiters out there looking for talent? We are so excited to introduce a truly remarkable guest, Rama. She's a seasoned global tech executive whose diverse experience in sales, distribution, operations, and business transformation is nothing short of inspirational. Most recently, Rama served as a general manager of fintech talent development at the Central Bank of Egypt, where she championed the mission of establishing Egypt as a hub for fintech talent and scaling the next generation of financial leaders. Prior to this, she was Andela's country director, where she launched and led Andela's Egypt, positioning it as powerhouse in the tech ecosystem and a magnet for top technical talent. Rama's career journey started outside Egypt, where she led dynamic teams at industry giants like IBM, Lenovo, and more. Her return to Egypt marks a passionate commitment to fostering the future of technology in her homeland. Rama's energy and passion for building great organizations in Africa and beyond are truly contagious. As she says, dare to dream, believe in yourself, follow your passion, and help build a better world. With a bachelor degree in computer science from the American University in Cairo, an executive MBA from HEC Paris, plus a Cambridge FinTech and Regulatory Innovation certificate, Rama's academic credentials are as impressive as her professional achievements. Join us as we deep dive into Rama's journey, her visionary insights, and her future aspirations for more growth. Rama, thanks a lot for joining me today.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation and having me today with Cassie.
No, the pleasure is all mine. I would love to start by getting to know a little bit about your background and experience. You have a very, very interesting and rich experience across different continents, different industries, small and medium and large enterprises and companies, private and government sector. So there is a lot to tell. So if you can give us a glimpse about your experience, that would be great.
Thanks for this compliment, but makes me think of when you say you have an impressive profile, you have such a wealth and rich file, makes me wonder, why am I sitting here, not really moving to the next stop? It's always like you get this feedback, but it takes you a while, a hell of a mountain to climb to really get to what you want as your next step. But yes, true. Something like if I want to tell you more about myself or my experience, I can start by saying, that I accomplished Rama an accomplished computer scientist who graduated from the American University in Cairo with a minor in math. Not many of my colleagues had minored for, usually they go for business, economics. So I was like of the few that went for math because I love math and numbers. And then from there, this took me to my career journey in IBM. It was quite a journey. From there, moving to various stops within IBM across different continents, not even countries, but continents across Asia, Europe, and back to Africa, which is Egypt, across various functions, and then different missions after that between companies, leaving IBM, going to Lenovo, experiencing merger and acquisition one time, merger and acquisition 2 times, like at second time, then finally, removing the hat of corporate and starting to invade into the entrepreneurship and startup world until I decided to basically come back home after this tour of countries.
Okay. And like looking at your most recent experience, like I know you have been taking a bit of a break, slowing down, and then you started to think about like what's coming next in your adventure. You represent a very interesting profile because like there is a lot of like senior talent out there in the market. We are talking Egypt and we are talking Europe, US, etc. people with like a wealth of experience, like 15, 20 years plus, who are looking for their next adventure, at the same time facing the realities of today's job market and how hard it is for people across the board from junior to like senior level and director level to find the right like fit when it comes to their next steps. Can you walk me through your recent experience applying to jobs? How do you see today's markets? Are you applying in Egypt or outside as well? Tell us more about that.
Part of the challenges that you have when you're becoming senior and you're becoming less specialized and more general, where the job market demand has been a little bit shifting to specialization. And it's becoming even more competitive in terms of like, less opportunity and more supply. As you mentioned, you could find many experienced people having the same or close to qualified for the job. So the competition becomes more and more fierce. So yes, I started to apply the typical LinkedIn, opportunity. But more importantly than this, it's trying to leverage your network. And your connection and all your community. So the minute that I see that the opportunity here, basically you need to start reaching out and figuring out a way of getting yourself more visible. Visibility is very important at this point. Actually, it's at any time, but maybe it's less demanded when you're a junior or at early career versus when becoming senior or actually close to very senior, let's say.
Okay. And based on your profile, at what stage of the job hunting experience are you facing the biggest challenge, or are you seeing people of senior profiles like you are facing the biggest challenge? And just to add an example, is it that you are applying to too many jobs but people are not answering, or that you are not finding the fit after the first like call, or is it getting to the last stages but it's failing due to like a mismatch when it comes to offer, or there are no opportunities, so I don't find anything to apply to? Like, where in the stages are you finding the biggest pain?
There will be definitely few, not one challenge. So if I want to mention some or name few of them, definitely the first and foremost is the right opportunity is not there. The second one is really from a recruiting and let's say the other side, the hiring, the process doesn't go until the end. You end up doing one interview tool, you're basically on the right track, and simply there is never feedback, though you've been even interviewed on a face-to-face level. So I've faced this in terms of no feedback, of no engagement or communication after one interview or after two or three after face-to-face interviews, physical ones.
And would you say that some of these like challenges are like Egypt specific? And I can definitely relate to a few of what you've mentioned in terms of like the process during the interview itself, or like no follow-ups or no feedback, and some of these kind of like, and the lack of like diversified set of opportunities. Like here in the UK, let's say you can see a huge condensed, let's say, opportunities on the fintech space. This could be potentially like 50% of the market compared to less opportunities in other diversified industries or verticals. Like, how much of what you have been facing so far you would say is Egypt problem or Middle East or like Africa versus no, this is happening across the board based on just your observations at least?
I wouldn't say even observation, Ahmed. I would say based on my experience, because I've been there exactly from the other side when I was still in Paris. From my first, experience of basically feeling like, getting out of, like a fish, the first time you get out of water and you don't know corporate side. And so I've been there, and it was a tough one, the first one that made me go to pursue my executive MBA at HEC in Paris, just to learn and to get a chance to know more new people, and at the same time gain, let's say, buy time until I get the next job, let's say. So it's across the board. It's nothing specific to Egypt, that's for sure. I can confirm.
Back to your background and experience, you have tried, most of your like background has been between corporate and government. Is this partially why you want to go for a startup as the next adventure? And then like could be a startup as well. It was kind of like between a startup and a scale up, but it was big enough not to be like a small startup, right? Tell us more about like your passion to like get into the startup world?
It came out of nowhere actually, and as I said, I've been more than 20. All my experience, if I say now I am over 25, so the 20 years were in corporate and mostly in IBM or IBM slash Lenovo, because I said I enjoyed going back and forth 2 times between the two as part of the acquisition and sale of the divisions. Somehow I felt like I'm too much in a comfort zone when I was at the corporate side in Lenovo, and I felt like something needs to be different. And this is when the gig economy was starting to rise. So startup for me was most of what I would look at the ecosystem of entrepreneurship and startup, they were more into B2C. So maybe I was missing this piece, so this is where I started to kind of like plug and play, many contribution, consultancy, advisory without any commitment. And then I came back home here in Egypt. The first experience was Andela, and it was actually a very thrilling, very overwhelming experience. I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. I loved it. When I moved to government, it was on the back of, and honestly, I never planned to say I wanted it this way. I say, I'm opening up. I let my passion drive me. The fintech division was something new, which I didn't know about. And it was in the Central Bank of Egypt to make me go to the government for the first time. I enjoyed it because it was, again, a little bit of startup culture, because the division was young, was new, and was to boost and position in terms of vision and objective or strategy to position Egypt as a hub for fintech. So basically, all you deal with are the startups. So I'd love to see what's going to be my next show.
I'm sure it will be a great, even bigger than previous ones. I love that you are still driven by passion and you are still optimizing for learning after all these years across these many big brands. So it's something that we can definitely learn all from and keep optimizing for as we grow in our careers. And the fact that you are still increasing the breadth of your experience as well, not necessarily focusing on one vertical or one industry, which I know, as you mentioned before, is making it a bit harder for you, given that not all companies are recruiters are evaluating it the right way. This is currently the time of maybe like a vertical specialization and looking for more depth over breadth, but I'm sure this would probably materialize and balance itself out at some points. What would be your advice to companies and recruiters out there looking for talents? You have been at this side of the table as well before, hiring for different companies, whether it was for Microsoft or Andela or CBE itself. Like, what would be the advice that you give to hiring managers and recruiters to make today's job market a bit better for talent and for the companies as well?
Well, I think they need, from a hiring perspective of the hiring companies, they need to be offering more flexible opportunity. By flexible, I mean hybrid / remote. We didn't touch on this point, but it is becoming vital. I don't think I would be exaggerating if I say that most of the workforce today are not accepting less than working hybrid. And this is across the different generation, whether we call it Gen Z, Gen X, or the seniors one, like the likes of my seniority. A company or a firm or a startup and by the way, I think most of the startups are anyway going this way. So that makes it easy, or even, let's say, more attracting to juniors or to fresh grad or to whoever who are 100% looking for remote work or hybrid. But I'm talking general, because we're not only talking about startups, talking about the whole ecosystem of work or job market. So that would be my first, let's say, recommendation for the side of the hiring companies. That would increase their options in terms of finding the right talent if they are challenged by lack of the right hires for them. I would open to new modes of the candidates. So back to my point about you don't have to be having a graduate university profile. Accepting and starting to embrace those apprenticeships and applied technology schools, vocational schools, graduates who have been basically well educated and trained enough to be ready for the job. That would be a second thing for me if I think of it from the other side. From the side of the job seeker, whether myself as a senior one or in mid between moving between jobs, key that you do networking and you work on your visibility and brand, personal brand. It's a must. It's not enough to simply apply and look for jobs or fill applications or even go for an interview. You need to showcase what you're doing in parallel. Start doing blogs, report of an event that you went, so you report on it. What did you learn? Sharing advice, sharing feedback, even sharing experience. I enjoyed this event. I enjoyed this class. Be visible. Keep the network and your brand as number one, even before even applying for the jobs.
I think interestingly, this advice has always been shared, maybe even I would say 10 or 20 years ago. But I think up until today, it was a nice to have or a booster in your experience hunting for jobs. But I think now it's actually a must have. It's something that, as you said, people have to do it. You can't in today's world find job easily unless you focus on your personal brand, you increase your visibility, you look for referrals, you network, you do side activities or side projects, you write online, you publish your blogs. These are must-haves now because everyone is competing for the same slot. You need to find a way to create your own moods in a sense, or different, or stand out. Exactly. So
stand out or to show that you're bold enough to basically go the extra mile. I do basically knock on every door. I used to, I remember when I was in Paris, LinkedIn was for me you knock on this profile. Can we have a talk? People you don't know, but you know that he's the hiring manager. You know that because there is some sort of connection, you could easily, dare to basically approach and speak to, even if not through someone. So, or basically get to this referral, as you mentioned. So, it's not easy. Sometimes many of us used to say it's a full-time job by itself to find your job. I'm right now taking it more easy, let's say, in terms of no stress because I'm trying to enjoy what I'm doing, which is basically more activities, engagements, and visibility, and some even giving back until, as I said, to piling up many things in parallel, as I mentioned, for the next year. Stop.
Yeah, and as you said, I wish for a world where job experience can be enjoyable as well. It shouldn't be stressful for either side.
It shouldn't be, exactly. That's nice.
Especially it should be. Not necessarily a fun experience. Yeah, I was going to say I was thinking fun, but okay, not that extreme. It doesn't have to be fun. We should enjoy. We should come out of it with value, even if the outcome is not getting the job or closing the candidate, but there should be other values we look for. It could be expanding the worth of our knowledge, the breadth of our network, knowing something new about a company or industry or about a person. There should be other byproducts, if I might say, of you getting into an interview or you applying for a job.
And by the way, that makes me remember something else, that even when you're doing this and you're kind of, let's say, struggling, and we don't want to say struggle, but yes, for some there it is a struggle. If you get a chance to basically offer a job or give a lead to someone else who is in your same shoes, do it, and maybe that would basically be a return for you later on, and it will make you happy enough in the sort of quick win this journey. So it's gonna be some sort of a quick win in the journey because you made someone happy. You kind of close on a gap for someone who was basically desperate for to go for to find the job. So this is something also that I learned. It makes you feel the experience.
Yes, I do agree. Supporting each other as well. It's it can be a lonely journey, so we should definitely not make it even more. So Rama, we covered a lot today. I'm conscious of time as well. I can't thank you enough for all these thoughts and wisdom. I wish you all the best in the next steps, and I look forward in the upcoming weeks to know your latest updates and latest adventure, and welcome you again on the show. But yeah, thanks a lot for your time today and everything you've shared with us.
And what I can say, they keep saying stay tuned, but I'd like also to change it. I think, uh, keep close keep close eye.
Yeah, I will definitely remember that. Thank you.
Okay. No,
Thank you,
no.
Ram, again.
Thank you very much, and good luck for this. Very good cause. I really look forward to really see that the result that you basically gonna achieve out of this moment.
Thank you. I'll keep you posted. You keep close as well.
Sure. Thank you very much. Bye bye.